So you all should be able to see my screen now. Some of this might be review for some of you, others I hope you get something out of this. We're going to start by creating a new panel. So we can go to the top and select new, and another window will pop up. Before I go any further, I'm going to let you guys know that you can ask questions by writing them in. We'll try and answer them along the way. If we don't get to it, you can send us an email after and one of us will respond to it. So the basic shapes we can create are a rectangle, which if I select rectangle, enter the height and width, you can see it'll pop up in the preview window. The next shape we can select is an elliptical shape. Again, I can enter the coordinates and it'll pop up in the window. For this example, we are going to select the free shape from DXF file. So if I click on that, import DXF, and I've previously saved it to our computer, so I'm going to select that. Hit open, and you will see the panel again in the preview window. The next thing we need to do is select a thickness. So for this example, I'm going to select 3 millimeters. And then we are going to select the type of material we want and also the color we want. So you can see the preview in there. If that all looks good, we can go ahead, go down to the next box, which is remarks for production. This area you can leave special notes that you want to convey to us, such as if you want the edges sanded, some customers want serialization of panels, or if you put some text on the panel that you would like on the reverse side, you can also leave it in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and the panel will appear on your screen. So now that we have the exterior of the panel designed, we are going to add some cutouts to the panel. I'm going to start by the drill hole function. You can see I'm scrolled over the icon at the top. If I select that, I'm going to go ahead and enter my coordinates. Next, it'll ask me for the diameter of that drill hole. And I will hit OK. And you can see that the cutout has appeared on here. So I'm going to do another example of the drill hole. Again, I will enter the coordinates. For this example, I am going to show you countersunk hole. You can see, scroll down, it gives you several options for countersinking. Again, you can see it in the preview window. It appears. You'll notice that this drill hole has a ring around it. That's signifying that it is indeed to be countersunk. I'm going to do one more. Again, I'm entering my coordinates. And this time I'm going to select blind hole. and I am going to place it on the reverse side. Once you select the blind hole, you'll be able to select the depth. I will use 2 millimeters, so it's not going to go all the way through. And you'll see it appear on the screen. I'm going to zoom in real quick. You'll notice that this one is cross-hatched. Anytime you see cross-hatched within the designer, that signifies that it will be milled on the back side of the panel. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through a rectangular cutout. You'll see that is a rectangular hole on the icon bar. Again, I will enter my coordinates. On the rectangular cutouts, it'll ask you for your dimensions, your height, and your width. So I'm going to go ahead and enter those. See that it's on the screen. There's a couple other cutouts we can do. I'm not going to go through them, but there's the insert D hole and insert a curved slot. The last one I will go over is the insert free contour. This is for irregular cutouts that you want to place on your panel. So again, I will select that icon. We'll enter the coordinates. I will hit import, and again I have previously saved it, so I will select the DXF that I want. And now I've placed that on the panel. So those are the few functions of cutouts that we can place on panels. The next thing I'm going to touch on is the beveling of panels or objects. This is one of the new features that we recently added. There's 2 ways we can add beveling of objects. One is when we go to create the object, so I'm going to do that right now. Again, you'll notice that blind hole and placed on reverse side is checked here. The designer will default to the last previous object that you've added, so we're going to deselect that. Get a regular cutout and hit OK. We have edge machining. This is where you'd want to add your bevels. For this example, I will add a 1 millimeter radius on the top and bottom of that cutout. You will see on that cutout, if I zoom in a little bit, there is a blue outline on that cutout. Whenever you see a blue outline within the designer, it will signify that you requested a bevel on that object. The other way, once the object is created, to select a bevel is just to double click on the object. Again, select edge machining. And you will notice in this drop down we offer 30-degree bevel, 45-degree bevel, a 60-degree bevel, and then also different size radius bevels. So for this example, I will use a 2mm radius. And again, you will see the blue outline signifying the bevel has been selected. You can also request that we bevel the exterior of the panel, or the perimeter of the panel. We'll go ahead and select the panel, and again, we can do edge machining. And you will see that a bevel has been placed on the perimeter. On the beveling, the bevels will always default to before powder coating. So that is one thing that I'd like you to keep in mind when placing bevels on panels. So since we are using a powder coated finish, I'm going to go through that briefly. There's two things that we're going to go over. The engravings are going to always be milled after powder coating, but we do have the option to select objects that we would want milled prior or before powder coating. So if I double click on the object, you'll see that there's a box that says Mill After Surface Finishing. If I go ahead and click that, you'll notice that a red outline appears on that cutout. That signifies that we will mill that after the panel has been powder coated. The other way to do that is we can also just single click on the object, and you'll notice the object properties over here on the left. There is a mill afterwards. We can select yes, and again you'll notice that there's a red outline on that signifying that we will powder coat or mill that after powder coat. So the last thing I'm going to briefly touch on is another new function we've added, and that is epoxy bonded studs and standoffs. You can see the little icon up here. I'm going to go ahead and select that. I will again enter the coordinates. You'll see a new window pop up. We can either select stud or standoff. The desired thread and the length, like that. So I place that stud. I'll do one more. This time I'm going to select the standoff, and I'm going to uncheck place on reverse side. So you can see the difference in the two. One is cross-hatch, again signifying that it will be placed on the back side of the panel, and the standoff, which will be placed on the front side of the panel. So once you have your panel created, you can go ahead to the ordering process, which is on the top. Start ordering process and go through the tabs. Make sure the panel's in there. It'll ask you for billing, ship to addresses, and your method of payment. And the type of shipment you want. And then at the end it will give you your order summary We've also added a new request for quote, so our customers can now place the order or request a quote from this order summary screen. So that's pretty much wraps up our presentation. Again, if you have any specific questions that we didn't cover, you're more than welcome to email them to info@frontpanelexpress.com. And again, I appreciate everyone for coming, and I will open it up to answer a few questions that we've had that everyone might benefit from. So one common question we did get is about a keyhole and how to create that object. There's one of two ways to do that. You can either stack two objects, a circle and a square, to get that keyhole effect, or you can design it and save it as a DXF file. So that is probably the way that we've most seen it, is creating it in another AutoCAD-based program and then saving it as a DXF. Another question we had was the powder coating priorities. Again, they are defaulted to mill prior to powder coating. You can select certain objects to have milled after powder coating by simply selecting them and then changing it on the object properties on the left-hand side by selecting yes, or by double-clicking on the panel or the object and checking the mill after surface finishing. You can raise your hand if you have a question, and we'll try and answer it now. Another question that was asked was, do we offer other plastic materials? We do offer two types of plastic, a clear and red perspex. We can also get other types of plastic through our vendors upon request. Again, you could design the panel and add us a note in the remarks for production that we would look into getting other types of material. Someone asked to go over the bevels again. The way you would do that is select the object, and you can find the beveling options down here in edge machining. again, we can do the front. You can also select the rear. And once you've selected the bevel, it will be outlined with a blue line.